Okay, hello. I think it's working. So today we're going to be doing part 2 of my Sloid experiment. So in a few words, um, there is a library called SolidJS, and it uses separate bundles for server and browser, and it's a bit clunky to work with that. So you can't, I mean, anyway, so the simple way of saying it's not great, and I wanted to figure out if there are like better ways to deal with that. And there was a joke a few weeks back by one of the people from like Solid community of introducing Sloid, which is kind of like wrong version of Solid. And yeah, I registered the package named Sloid, so I'm going to I'm going to call my abomination Sloid. So I want to say that just like in news that happened, Remix was acquired by Shopify, and just from the like messaging, it seems like they were acquired pretty good. Meaning that if they got like 3 million, I think it was 3 millions of like VC funding, they got acquired for more than that. I didn't hear any like numbers, but I think it's fine. I think everyone is happy. Yeah, I think I just wanted to mention that there was like the way people took that news was because Shopify has a framework that's called Hydrogen. Everyone kind of like assumed that if they're buying Remix, that means that they're kind of closing Hydrogen something. It looks like they're actually just going to still call it Hydrogen, but it's going to be based on Remix instead of Vite. And I joked that this means that we don't have any Vite-based React frameworks anymore, except for Ruckus.js, of course, but which is like version 0 something. So Hydrogen was kind of like the biggest Vite-based one. And yeah, so people thought that because Hydrogen kind of like selling feature was React Server components, and now React Server components are implemented in Next, and people are kind of like not entirely happy with how it's implemented in Next. Maybe what you want to get from that is like, yeah, React Server components are bad. Remix released them, no one likes them. Hydrogen like is closing or something, so no one is going to use React Server components. But Remix already had support for React Server components, and they basically said that no, we're going to kind of like still use it eventually when it's kind of like becomes more more stable. I think that they called it. Yeah, I don't remember if this is from this thread or not, but so it's a bit sad news for Hydrogen, but we don't know anything particular yet, so it could be good. It's a bit of a good news for Remix and Preact, because because Remix is pretty kind of excited, I guess the best word to say it. Excited about doing more integrations with React, and Shopify employs 2 people who are working on like core React, so that could mean kind of like cool features or whatnot. Anyway, for me, kind of like parasocially, I think that's a good news, because I think Ryan unbanned me on Twitter because I don't know, he's no longer the one who is kind of like responsible for making sure that Remix is like the best technology, and he's not as afraid probably of all the like competition, Solid, Astra, or I don't remember like what I said that got me banned. Maybe quick, who knows? But yeah, I think I don't remember where he said it, but it's like, yeah, that he said like this elevates so much like stress, and hopefully I can benefit from it. So after this stream, one of the viewers contacted me and said, "Hey, do you know how to run like Solid in Deno?" And he sent like few example apps that are using Solid, and I didn't look into that much, but we can maybe look a bit. I did video before about how to run Solid on Deno with Vite, which is like a lot of how do we say it, emulation, and it's like it's not like native Deno. You're kind of like in Node or Vite land there, but at least like hot module reloading works and all that kind of like SPA stuff. But I don't think the server side rendering works. So I think I'm going to quickly kind of like just look at what this is, because I didn't look before. But that could maybe help a bit in terms of what are the approaches that people usually take with Deno and Solid. And what we got from the last stream is that there are basically several ways how you can import Solid basically into your project. And I wonder, so I think we did SMSH last time, and yeah, so in previous one I saw like Skypack. So let's kind of like, I don't know if I will going to run it, but I want to at least like look how it. So 5 months ago, that's before like Vite support. This one is last month, and this one is I don't know, 7 days. Oh, that's new. So like Solid was already supported in Vite, but this one is not using Vite. Okay, let's quickly look. So this is running bundler. Okay, and installs npm. Okay, that doesn't sound too much like Deno, right? Install npm and run bundler. So it's Solid and Solid Fab Both of them are server. So all of this stuff is Deno, including Babel. We have TypeScript and Solid. Ah, interesting. That's actually kind of like more involved than I was expecting. Okay, so where do we start? So here's the listener. My thing. Okay. So it builds client version of Solid, and there is like client.tsx, and this one builds interesting. Okay, so it builds SSR version of Solid. Where out there. Okay, so it puts it in server. Where do we use server later? Okay, so we build it, then we're importing what we built. Okay, and now, so this one can already do like render. Yes, so this is basically like app. So render to stream app. Okay, so this is full stack Deno with ES build. So it doesn't have HMR probably and all that stuff, but it's at least it's a full stack. Okay, that's cool. The only question is, how does it build client? How does it pass client dependencies? That's probably the question that I don't understand. Okay, so client imports SolidJS web counter. Okay, interesting. Server, I don't know why highlighting is broken. Hydration script, that's from Solid. And counter, so it takes counter. Okay, so we have package JSON with Solid, and we don't have anything Babel related. That's really interesting. So I wonder if they needed to do all of this node stuff exactly so that they can have access to Solid. Yeah, I think I want to run this one. So do I know who this is? Milo. Okay. Do you have... Okay, you don't. I was hoping for like Twitter. I guess I can look at Discord. Okay, so what about this one? Packages. Okay, so packages as in package JSON, or why are we talking about the packages? Browser buggy for client query. Okay. Okay. I don't really know what it means, but so this is some kind of HMR, but maybe like server HMR. Dev and dev2. Okay. Okay, pretty huge files. And probably we wouldn't know what's the difference between dev and dev2. Okay, so .env. Babel. Okay, this one does too much stuff. I kinda don't understand. So it doesn't look like it does anything server side. It just sends like this empty index HTML. This is look like dev server, and it tries to maybe compile files. Okay, just yeah, Babel transform. Preset solid. Okay, this is actually interesting. I guess maybe it used to work with like a hyperscript version of solid, but okay. So this is almost like a kind of like what Read does. It transforms like dependencies and stuff. So this is actually like pretty interesting. And okay, so yeah, so the versions. So Skype pack, yeah, HTML and H. Yeah. I guess that's probably like just experimenting. So do I know who that is? No. Vue, Deno, Preact, Bond Preact. Okay, so this is like also pretty interesting person. Okay, so this one is the smallest one, right? So it uses everything from Deno except for Solid and ES build, right? Okay, so what do we get here? Okay. Okay, so this is a browser version. Yeah, because when you are using CTN to import Solid, you don't know which one it's going to import. And I guess ESMSH imports the browser one, or maybe that's that what. Hmm. Yeah, it's always browser one. Okay, so it doesn't use Solid on server then. So build, compile output. Okay, compile and bundle for browsers with Deno. Okay, example. Oh yeah, I should probably send something here, but um, you can build locally. Okay, so this script just builds. Where does it get input? A file? Yeah, file. So it just compiles Solid, and I wonder why does it even need Solid for ES build plugin probably. Okay. Okay. So this one is most no, not this one. This one. This one is most like a SSR, like full server, but I don't understand how client bundle works here. Those two seem to be just client stuff. So this one doesn't even have a server. It just lets you to compile. And I knew about like something like this for a pretty long time. And I don't know how to look for it. Yeah, August. So yeah, so like a few months. For a few months, you could do this. Probably more, but this one is the most interesting one, at least. So, okay, so we need to run install to get PNPM stuff. I don't know what does the city stuff. City app. Oh, right, right. So this example, they didn't know that you can build. Okay. Let me look at this one quickly. And route to string. Yeah, it's a bit confusing. Okay, let's try to run it anyway. It's not like PNPM is so long uh, to install. Already in use. Okay, so where do we already in using it? Is it one of the yeah? Okay. uh, yeah, I think network tab is the interesting one because all of this is done through like routing. Where was it? Here. So it was client.js. I guess just .jsx. Yeah. So this one. Um. So read file and transform. Why do we need PNPM stuff then? Okay. I'm going to to do this. Okay, could not resolve. So where does it try to resolve it? Client JSX. JSX. So who is compiling client JSX? Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, let's. Oh, was I looking at the wrong one? Bundler. Okay, did I get the wrong one? No, I got the right one. But AS build. Okay. I don't have that much interest in figuring out all of those things. Okay, so let's add the stream marker. um, so I will add those things to the description, but we're going to do Sloid. We see that people are suffering. I think that's enough. We just know that they're suffering. Okay, so here is where we left when we looked at this. So we have this solid repo, the real solid, and we are trying to rename it to Sloid. And I'm still not sure if that's the best way to do that. I was just like thinking that may be like the fastest way, but maybe I was wrong. mm, okay, so one other thing we can try is so let's just commit everything that we have, and yeah, it's there were a few versions. Fix resource state. Yeah. I don't know what was happening there, but so let's rename it solid. I mean Sloid renaming. And so now we will do this way. We will call it Sloid mono repo. Okay, so we need to install like all the packages and stuff. So the idea is that we have packages, and let's check that build works. Everything builds. I don't know if they have like tests in Solid, so we can check if it works, but let's kind of think that it works. The idea of like renaming everything is that we will have to kind of like do fork of Solid, and I'm I probably don't have like enough energy of like supporting solid fork. So the other way is in packages. You can just create a package that's called Sloid. I just wonder what should be in it. I think let's call kind of like solid element as something that is close to what we are going for, and it's going to be Sloid. Okay, I need to create it first, right? Or what's the problem? File exists. Okay. Was that because of the node modules? Okay, let's remove node modules, which is a great command called npkill. It's great because it allows you to remove node modules. So let's try that again. Okay, it worked. Yeah, and this is a really simple package. That's what I was hoping for. Except it's probably too simple. Where's the build stop? TSC. Is that simple? Wow. Oh yeah, because it uses like a component register, which I think is like in different package. But anyway, so I think that's a good start anyway. So we want to see that our build still works. Yeah, we removed everything. Met per dependencies are probably fine. Okay, so let's look at our Sloid stuff. Here, basically, when we want to re-export kind of everything. Okay, so it works. I'm trying to figure out what's the best way to start here. So I don't work with PNPM enough to understand how it works. So if I do build, okay, so it's down to the turbo. So, and if I do build, it depends on build. Okay. So link. Okay, so what's link? I guess. So same link. Interesting. Okay. I'm not sure what that does, but it seems that like we might need this. And so we're doing Sloid, and so in Sloid package JSON, call it Sloid. Now if we run build, I wonder why it doesn't use cache. It's always rerunning. Is that something wrong on like my part or theirs? Okay, so we see that Sloid was running. I need to figure out how to run turbo in just one folder. Turbo repo run one. Okay, one single app. Okay, let's go. I think it's called filter now. Yeah, but let's try it. So yarn turbo build filter Sloid. Okay, close but not it. So turbo run build. Okay, that's better. Huh? I wonder if they have like uh RM and then build something. Hmm. Yeah, I don't know. Okay, so it picked it up. That's great. And we can build it. So now, does that mean if I do like import Sloid, will it know where to pick it up? Oh, require. No. So now if I do package Sloid, require module not found. Okay. Which is not okay. We have dist and we have package JSON that hopefully, yeah, it has dist. Mm. Okay, so this is slightly confusing. Uh, hmm. The Sloid doesn't work. Does SolidJS work? Yes. Uh, uh, okay, so uh, let's look at what kind of examples they have. Maybe we can just use some examples. Have documentation and examples. Okay, that's almost it. What if I create maybe Vite project? And where do I do that? Okay, so if I go to create Vite, yeah, create Vite extra is the one that has solid SPA supported for Deno. But okay, template, current templates. So I don't want solid template, right? I want something like vanilla so I can import solid myself. Yeah, okay, so let's try that. pnpm, fine. So vanilla.js. Okay. Why is it my view app? I need to rename it. Sloid example. Okay. So it took a second, but it's there. So now okay. So what do I want to know? I want to know how to. Okay. Does pnpm have a link? It does. How does it work? Makes current local package accessible system-wide or in another location. Okay. Links package. Links package from dir folder to node packages. Okay, so pnpm link, and we go to solid packages Sloid. Okay, so now we have this module. So we run dev. I guess we need to open this code. We run dev, and now we have this, and we can open some kind of main.js and do import something from Sloid. And what we can do, custom element. Okay. So we have this, and it shows a function. So we can do custom element. I don't know. Hello. Okay. Okay. So right, because we didn't have JSX, doesn't know what to do. Maybe that's actually like a good example. Right, so if we don't do JSX, if it just returns a string, and we have my counter, hello world, 1, 2, 3. Even hot module reloading works. That's good. So now the question is, okay, or is it? It kind of is. So now, I mean, yes. So now let's go to now let's go to Sloid index.js. So this is our like implementation. So if you want to export const hi, okay. So now if I build now if I build Sloid, so here we can do hi. Okay, and it works. Okay, I wanna cheat here. uh, because I know sometimes you can do this. And now if I do this, so I don't have to build it. I mean, I would have to build it if I want it to work, but for our kind of like testing, it's actually fine. So now the question, can I do this? I can't. Okay, so um, hmm. Okay, so we have create root. So those are solid functions. So now the interesting question is, can I import something from like solid src, right? Using src export in SolidJS. Okay, so it's using build. So what do we have in build? So we're talking Sloid, non-modules, solid. And this is what it outputs right now. And our problem is, do we have source? We do have source. Why didn't that work then? Can I do this slash source? Failed to resolve from does this file exist? Okay. Sloid packages source. Yeah, I don't know if that doesn't work because I mean we can try to build it, right? Cannot find module. Okay. But if I do this, can you find module? Okay, it can, but then it doesn't work in here. So I can do this or not. No, I can't. No. Right, because I need to bundle it probably. So let's try to figure out that. So we have so we need something with uh, with like roll up and stuff. All of those are really simple, but this one has a Babel at least. Set TypeScript tests. It does tests. Okay, so one other one is DOM expressions. So this one does yes. So roll up and learn a build. Okay. Why does it have so many packages? Okay, so what is the build here? I don't see build here. Okay, so this one has a rollup. Okay, so we have rollup here, and we have rollup person. We have rollup here. Okay, so Babel, node resolve, clean up, replace. What do you need to replace? Interesting. Okay, not sure what that does. Okay, so command.js, ES. Okay, so far I'm almost understanding what's happening. Exclude modules, extensions, resets. Okay, so the plan is we're starting with this. I think I can change something. Okay, so we're starting with this. We put it in Sloid, and we're looking at this one and trying to figure out how to how to make outputs smaller. So extensions are fine, exclude is fine, Babel RC is fine, Babel helpers, okay, presets is fine. Okay, plugins. Rename import. Okay, so we're renaming web source. What's web source core? Okay. Let's just call it. We don't need this. uh, okay. So now clean up comments extensions. Right. So doesn't seem too relevant. Now input stuff. So here we have just one input and one output. And some kind of plugins. Okay, so plugins are fine. So here we have no resolve, replace. Okay, have replace. So I think, okay, dist, server, store, and all that stuff. Okay, so we only need dist, I think. We don't need plugins. And we only going to use this. And it's going to be Sloid. Okay. Okay, so here's our plan. Plugins unused. Okay, in order to use it, we need to add it here, I guess. Okay. Okay, so here's a plan. So to build it, we do rollup -c and tsc. Okay, that one I'm a bit less clear why we need it. So here, when we do build, we do build clean and build.js. Okay, so we always do build a rollup. So go back to Sloid, package JSON. Where's our build? Build. Okay, here. So okay, clean and rollup. Let's call it that. Or do we need JC? Okay. I will remove it for now because I don't understand if we need it. Okay, slow it. Team. Okay. It built something, so let's look at what it built. Okay. But before we do, please like us and subscribe. Okay. Sorry for interruption. Okay, so we're looking at the build output. Okay. I mean, it built something. So it complained us that it doesn't know what solid SRC is. I wonder how that looks. Okay, so it just didn't do anything with it. Okay, so what does it mean for our Vite stuff? Not much. Okay, so what do we have in the... Okay, it didn't do TypeScript, so maybe yeah, maybe we actually need it. Okay, so let's build it again. Now we see index.js. Okay, I'm not sure how I feel about that one, but okay, added some types at least. So okay, so types are there. Okay, so does that change anything? Okay, it doesn't. Okay, so let's go back to... So in this package, so we're building this. Yeah, I'm confused. Why do we need TSC? The main and module uses... Okay. npm ignore search C. Okay. Okay, I'm totally confused. So this package doesn't. Oh no, it's this wrong package. We were looking at Hyperdome expressions. Yeah. Yes. So this has one file, lib, other file. What? So TypeScript outputs into types. Okay, I don't get it. So source is compiled into lib and dist. Okay, so then we're importing from lib and dist. And tsc, for some reason mine produces tsc.js, but here it only produces types. But I'm kind of almost getting what is happening. So here in Sloid, we need to put our right, because we create two files. So main is, I think main is common.js one, and JS is module one. I don't know if we need also like exports or whatever the thing it is called, but so let's go back to testing in Node. Okay, we can't include it anyway. Still don't get how that works. But we can include it here, right? Package subpath. Okay, so anyway, so let's build it again. I have a little bit more energy today than I did yesterday, so I'm kind of like I will be okay. I think I will have like more energy to work with all of this like funny stuff. So oh no, I'm fixing the wrong one. So like here, yeah, here. Okay. So now we are using the right file, and so here we can use any file, doesn't matter. So if we have hi, yeah, and HMR works. So now the question is if I use compiled version, it's 1, 2, 3, and it's going to change only after I build it. But after I build it, Okay, so I don't like when build is doing clean. So I will create a separate command that will just build. Let's call it build.js. And here I will be running build.js. It's not in the pipeline. Interesting. I mean, I can just go to packages, Sloid, and build.js. Oops. Or can't. Okay, so let's call it this. I don't want to fight with builds too much, but the point was that so now if I change it, it doesn't apply, but if I build it, it applies, and we don't see like the empty flashing screen because of the removing of the file. Okay, so let's go back. So here in Node, we have access to, or don't we? So the question, if you go back to Solid and we look at this package JSON, the idea is that you have uh, the same package that's called solid, but it will return different files. Kind of like here, it will return either like server or dev or solid, depending on from what environment you're importing it from. And it would be really cool if we could so let's do Node again. No, that would just. So we can import SolidJS. We can import SolidJS web, and all of that is kind of like resolved with all of these things. You can do SolidJS H, HTML, store, and so on. So the interesting question, can we just import the file? So if I know the file, can I do this? Require ESM. Okay. Do I just add CommonJS? Yes. Okay. So can I do that in this file? What will happen if I just do this? I need network, right? Or okay. All right, because we need to compile it first. Okay, so now if I okay, requirement undefined. That's fine because we wanted to import it anyway. Okay, missing export. Okay. What do I do here? So we know that it works like that. Maybe it's because of the ES modules, right? So how do I start node in ES module mode? Experimental modules. How long are they going to be experimental? So require works, but if I do import, kind of works. Okay. Okay. So it works in Node. So now if I do this, and if I try to build it, okay. Okay. Invalid value for options. All right. If I'm going to do imports, that's going to be like chunks and stuff. So let's cut it out, paste it here, and let's compile it. Okay, it did compile. Now, what about here? Okay, it doesn't work, but what if I use but what if I use build? Okay, it did work. Interesting. So I think what we want to do TypeScript doesn't work. Oh, someone is chatting. Let me bring it up. Homie coder. Hi, homie coder. Glad to see you too. Okay, so I guess maybe I should explain a bit what I'm doing. So SolidJS produces different bundles for server and client, and it produces this in a way that you can't really choose any of that stuff. And I'm basically trying to repackage Solid in some way where you have kind of like more control over that. And I the hope is if we do it correctly, we can use it from Deno with kind of like expected semantics, because we tried to see a few examples of using Solid in Deno, and all of them are like, okay, this is some strange thing that we need to do to make it work on client. This is some strange thing that we need to do to make it work on server. So it's like, it's really confusing. So I'm trying to use rollup to repackage Solid in some kind of like more more understandable way. And yeah, so like TypeScript isn't working, for example. But we can try to play with that a bit. So we're doing web server, and so web server is doing DOM expressions, so it should have render to string. So if we import renders to string from here and do it this way, so I need to compile it. And now here. So now in a client bundle, I can use server APIs, because like solid web is I think, yeah. So I think basically, so we have solid and solid web. I want to have solid like browser and solid server. I want to have solid web browser and solid web server. So that's kind of like our, so it's not going to be solid, it's going to be like Sloid. But that's kind of like the play here. I'm still not sure what's going to be the best API. The thing that is scary is that when you import, okay. So apart from Solid itself, if you compile your package with like standard Solid transform, it adds template function that will crash on import. So if you do all of this stuff, we still have a chance of having crashes, but like later on. I don't know how well my explanation is because I actually kind of like when I did the last stream, I was like, no one is going to watch it. This is like too this is too deep. Okay, so let's go back. Let's keep it for kind of like for our comments so that we know what we're doing. But I'm still trying to figure out API that we're going for. So all the TypeScript errors, they're probably easy to fix. We can add kind of like types manually. We need to figure out kind of like runtime stuff so it works. Then we can figure out TypeScript. So I think I want to try this like export from server, and so I need to build it. Okay, so created. Right, that's probably TypeScript. I wonder if we can do just JS ignore a bit. Yeah, cool. And now I think I want to do like star as Sloid and just see what it is. Okay. So yeah, the funny one is like is server because we are running this in browser, but it shows is server true. This is all like great. It allows to create like smaller bundles and dead code eliminate and all that stuff. But I wanna do like wrong thing. So once you get solid bundled into 4 different sections, you're hoping to reduce errors. This is way deep. I mean, yeah, that's kind of like the plan to. I mean, it's not technically like errors. It's like people are living with this. it it works, but it requires. I think I showed it on last stream, but I wish it show. I wish it showed our repo right away, so I don't have to click around. But so here's our package. This is, for all intents and purposes, this is like browser only package, but because it depends on Solid, it will basically like crash when you try to import it in Node. So like for Node, it's not that like complicated to fix it. You just create, similarly to how Solid does, you just create two separate bundles for like browser and a server. And server file, it just has like where is it? Yeah, basically like all the APIs are just like empty ones. They don't do anything. They just like return right away. So it doesn't actually like import Solid even, like the server thing. While the real one, it imports. I think here it imports Solid. So this one does like real work, but we need to have the server one so that it just has the same TypeScript types. And like it does nothing. And in ideal world, we're just using Sloid, and then we don't have, like, this package doesn't have to have two versions, because it's kind of like viral, because Solid has two different versions. Now Fogbender has two different versions, and if I want to include it in some other package, now I need to have two separate versions, and so on. So it's like everything now needs to think about this, just because Solid decided this is like the best possible optimization for them, which is, again, it's good for them. But I think it's a bit too much for me. Okay, so this is going. I don't want to say well, because it could stop at any moment, but that's kind of like the still trying to figure out what to do with like with templates and stuff. But I think I like this idea of like just naming those things. With real names. So okay. I think we need like an example app, probably. So what is the type of this thing right now? Yeah, it's the type of our index.js file. So one other option is yeah, I don't know. We need like 3 apps in order to test everything in total. But I think this is where we should start. We should just do Solid and Solid Web as like four entry points. So we are basically trading. We're basically trading this of like, okay, so we have Solid/Web that could return like all of this different stuff. Now we have I wonder if there should be like two packages, so maybe like Sloid and Sloid server. Yeah. Okay, so let's just test a bit what we got here. So we are importing this one from here, so web server, okay, and there is dev one, and there is in web one. Okay, so let's turn off this one for a second. Let's build it. And so what we expect to see here is that now like it exports the same stuff, but now like each server is false. So it's we produce different bundle, and so we can get like counter working, I guess. I'm trying to figure out what's the easiest example that can show stuff crashing, but I'm not sure yet. I guess we can go to like npackage and look for our fork bender package. So it has it's lazy bundles. I mean, we're looking for a template. Yeah, it's actually, yeah, lazy bundles is also like one of the possible solutions. But yeah, here's the thing. So solid web exports templates. Okay, do both of them have templates? Template. So this is web version, and this is server version. Okay, yeah. So that's kind of like that's kind of like the silly part. So if you go to like type definitions, this this module has this template function, but it's actually like undefined. So this is in a way like Ryan Carniato, whenever he talks about development, he's like, I hate tools. I like all the like bundlers, compilers, and all that stuff. It's kind of like too much. And I mean TypeScript. He's more upset with TypeScript, and this is like the this is what you get if you're using Ryan's Ryan's library. He's like, yeah, this thing doesn't always exist, but why does it have to be type of undefined? It's fine. Users can live through this. Okay, so there is actually like a different way how we can do this. I just don't know if that's the good way. So right now it's like undefined. So one thing that we can do is where is it now? Oh, okay. So yes, like here, export const template equals like empty function, right? So now if we compile it, this is an empty function. So we can produce thing that at least like works in TypeScript sense. We can basically like fix all the inconsistencies so it works fine. Okay. Yeah, we would need like better examples how to break it, but we should start with, I guess. Yeah, I'm still trying to figure out what's the how TypeScript store is going to work, but maybe I shouldn't think too much about it. Okay, I need to do less writing, more no, less talking, more writing. So speaking of like and so, I usually run my videos through Descript, and when you transcribe your video in Descript, it shows you something like there is like 150 filler words in your video. I decided that's probably going to be like a fun stat just to add to description for every video how many likes and arms and so I said. We can probably like plot a graph later and see if it's getting worse or better. I really like don't notice it when I'm saying it, but when I'm hearing my videos, I'm like, yeah, it's too much. I think I said 2 likes in this last sentence. Okay, so the part that I don't like that we would have to do is we would have to do bundles. Oh yeah, I need to show your comments. Interesting stat. But I have it a bunch. So, do you have like a stream or videos or something that you do regularly where you can count this? You calls week. Calls as in like meetings for work, or what is a call? Do. Yeah, I'm curious. Who do you talk to? What is who is the audience, and do they care if you're using all of those words? Because my wife's parents, they are the ones who like count all of my like filler words or things that is don't say right and all of that stuff. Open source projects. Okay. what kind of open source projects? What do you use for? I mean, like frameworks or libraries, or what they call it these days. Probably like a too small of a font. I don't have too big of fonts, but at least I stream in like 140p, so you can watch on like bigger screen and see better. But I don't know if that's like a right balance doing this stuff. Okay. I think this is the structure that I'm going to start on. Next.js. A bit confused. Oh, interesting. That's really interesting to hear someone who's uh who's kind of like both new at this and who's actually using Next.js, because we did like a smaller project with Next.js and like amplify stuff, and I wasn't kind of like too happy with the result, but that was like 2 or 3 years ago. And yeah, so can you explain what you find confusing? Because that's a really interesting like insight. They're trying to get better at JS and React. I really want to learn Solid, but discipling myself. What's the discipling? Otherwise, I keep learning and not building. Oh, I see. Yeah. Uh, I usually do very little learning and a lot of doing. So, for example, like I wrote few example apps with Quick, and I don't think I opened like more than 2 pages of docs. Discipline myself, yeah. Especially when you're starting, it's this like a tutorial hell and stuff. You can get kind of like caught into figure out the best technologies, figure out like the best approaches instead of just actually doing it. So I understand that this is actually like a good approach of um how do I say it, limiting kind of like browsing, right? So it's just I am just like figuring out what that is. I'm not actually doing anything. Yeah, you wanna kind of like limit that part. I enjoyed tinkering on T3 stack after the announcement as a new dev. I'm confused if there is still a big gap between Next and T3 stack. Okay, so okay, so you're using Next and you're playing with T3 stack, and you're thinking, are those two separate things, or am I doing the same thing? So I I didn't do anything except for like Hello World in T3 stack, and so take whatever I say with a grain of salt, but T3 stack is based on Next.js. So whenever Next.js like new features are released, they are available to you in T3 stack. So actually enjoyed few videos from TTO about Next.js, when he's like, here's how I use Next.js. I think like this works bad and this works good. And I was like, yeah, I agree with you actually. And so I got a bit more respect to Next.js after watching those videos, but it's still kind of like a bit not for me. And I don't remember exactly, but like I basically have more at this point. Vite is getting better, so like I have more things that don't work in now I need to deal with all of this spam. I think that they are also like doing it from like three different users. Anyway, so Theo has great. So Theo is he's how do I say it nicely? He's a content creator. He does what works, and in terms of like using fake tweet format or kind of like going out with some kind of like clickbait and stuff. So it's not always kind of like the I'm trying to figure out how to hide all of this spam, but I'm probably not going to. So he sometimes kind of like overplays some stuff, but in terms of technology, yeah, he really knows his stuff. And going back to the idea of like what is the difference between Next and T3 stack, that's actually kind of like that's actually the whole point of T3 stack. It is Next.js. It's just few. Oh yeah, thank you. This is helping a lot. I will try to figure out how to do moderation better on YouTube. Yeah, thank you. I just didn't want to give them too much real estate. Thank you. So T3 stacked is Next.js. He said before that, like before T3 stacked, he would just recommend, please go and like install all of those packages. So, and all of them are optional. So if you don't like Prisma, you don't use it. If you don't like Tailwind, you don't use it. So it's the same question of like, should I learn React or Redux? It's like, yeah, you just add Redux to React. It's like either way, you're not like losing anything. So even though like T3 stacked and Next.js is not for me, I think it's a fine technology, and especially like what we saw from NextConf, it's really popular technology, and a lot of people not critical at all at NextConf. So if you go to Twitter and you listen to every like content creator, and they're trying to find like a way of saying, oh, this is bad, or like they probably didn't cover like this use case, but a lot of people are just happy with what happened. They don't see any problems with that. And even though like a global fetch is like a controversial decision, but it's really easy for users to use it. So it makes kind of like perfect sense why they did it this way that they did. And yeah, I think like once once everyone cools down, once they have like few fixes to the issues that people have, I don't know. I think it, like I don't see. This is funny. Like everyone is upset with Elon Musk buying Twitter, and everyone is like, "Yeah, I'm leaving for Mastodon or like Canada or whatnot." It's like, sure, some people are going to be upset, and some people are going to be upset with Next.js, but most people are fine with that. So, and in terms of React server components, how do I say it? I'm tempted to like open Excalibur or something, but I will just say a few words. In terms of React server components, there are two things to understand about them. So first is in PHP days, it was like when Ajax kind of happened, like X in Ajax is a like XML. So the idea was that you do request and you get XML back, and that usually meant like HTML. You're getting HTML back. So I talk about this software or like technology a bit, and this is a lot of how we used to build PHP, like before frameworks, like kind of like right after Ajax happened. Do they have like examples? Yeah. Click to edit. Yeah. So. Oh yeah, sure. They're so nice. I mean, I actually want to show the real network tab. And where is it? Is it like emulating it? It doesn't actually do this. Okay. This is going to be like a bit sillier then. But the idea is that when Ajax was a thing, you will have this button, which button is it? Like submit, right? And this button will call like HTTP post or HTTP put or whatnot, and you will get some HTML in response, and you just put that HTML back in the page. It's like, why not? And this was really kind of like when you're trying to use a website and it's like doesn't work, you open the network tab and you see that this is what they're doing. And this was fine. Why you need this is you can do all of this stuff on the server, so you're not leaving kind of like comfort of your PHP. Like generating HTML is really easy in PHP. That's kind of like the whole point. But generating JavaScript to be able to do kind of like client interactions, or like submitting forms, or like maybe like verifying, like validating forms, or like, okay, this is too long or this is something. This is like, now you need to write this validation in JavaScript, which is like jQuery, and then you need to write it in PHP anyway. It's like, why don't you just return like HTML that is like HTML class danger error, you have like wrong input. That makes like more sense for PHP people. You can get this like JSON or XML at that time. You can check the length of the name and return HTML if it's like success or error or whatnot. And so for me, like half of the React server components is just this. Instead of returning JSON of like success or error, you return HTML, or in React's case, you return virtual DOM. Why not? This is proven 2003 or 5 technology. Why not use it in JavaScript? And like this, say this text, click to edit. There could be like a huge file of like translations, and for each language you produce needed input, and this name could be from database and all that stuff, and you don't ship any of that to client. And usual way of not shipping it to client is turning it into JSON, and then you turn that JSON into HTML in the client. But why? You just mark this HTML as a static HTML that you got from server that doesn't have any interactive parts, and that's it. You don't need to hydrate it, you don't need to render it. You just put all logic related to it to server. So for me, React server components make perfect sense. This is, I'm sure Facebook somewhere does something really similar, and they have those from like PHP days. They probably have all of this stuff. Infinite scroll. Okay, so I'm scrolling and I'm getting probably like pages, right? Yeah, so this is like one page, this is next page. So for me, this makes perfect sense. And second part of, so first part is React server components are PHP. They're Ajax of whenever the Ajax was invented. I don't remember, but the modern Ajax is kind of like HTMX or LiveView. There is actually like LiveView.js, which implements it with JavaScript framework, JavaScript backend, I mean. But there's Phoenix LiveView, which kind of probably is like one of the most popular implementations of that, where your website, like this website, yeah, you need to sign up. Yeah, okay. So this one, instead of sending like HTML over Ajax old school, it's a bit more modern. It uses WebSockets, but the idea is the same. So for example, this dropdown, it's running completely on client side. So you just kind of like have a directive of like, yeah, if you click on this, show this. It's a really, again, PHP of 2005 approach of sending client-side JavaScript, but like this navigation between tabs, it's actually done on the server. So when you click on it, server renders this information and sends it to you. And when you click on this one, server needs to render this one and send it. But you don't have to write actual JavaScript to allow these interactions. This is done kind of like once in LiveView JavaScript library, and then on the server you just handle events. Okay, this is event of like URL has changed. This is event of user clicked on play, and this is event of user clicked on stop. So this is basically like a solution of how do I not write my app twice, as I said before with example of like validation. I need to validate on the client, I need to validate on the server. And how do I not run my app twice? So this is what Quick, for example, does. They're working on like a new framework that is that makes sure that whatever was kind of like done on the server is not going to be rerun on the client. And this is alternative kind of like solution to that. And okay, so what is missing? So the other thing that is missing is like Astra, right? So like island architecture. So this is like static website that we rendered on the server, but this thing that follows my mouse, this is just a bit of JavaScript that is handling this interaction, which is again really really PHP style. You just include your one JavaScript file to make some part interactive, and React Server components are a lot about this. They are not automatic like Quick. Looks quick and responsive, yes, and most of those interactions are done with server. And if you have slower internet connection, you will see the difference. But for me, it's kind of server people don't like to write JavaScript. JavaScript people don't like to write server code, but best performance is when you use properly both of them. So server people there are server people who don't want to touch JavaScript at all, and this is in today's world, this is kind of like too sad, and no one really wants to use those websites. So the best compromise that they can do is something like Turbolinks or HTMX and whatnot. So this doesn't change the way that they write their code, but it brings a bit of interaction in a browser. And single page app, kind of like people, we don't like servers. Can we just like pay someone and get our database from the cloud and all that stuff? And it's like, yeah, but if only you had a bit of logic on the server that allowed you not to basically have yeah, I have this blog that I wrote in Next.js. This is one of my biggest Next.js experiences. One of the biggest like Next.js projects. But if you look at this, you're like, whoa, my whole blog post is duplicated here in like what I see, and here in JSON, which is fine for this article, but for something like this, it starts to look silly, and you're like, why do I need to send all of this? Can I just mark this as static and don't send it? And if you are not using server, the answer is no. you need to use server somehow for this. So for me, it's a kind of like natural progression of server people want to do bit more interactivity, and they are working on like live view and HTMX, all that stuff. And client-side people are trying to use more server-side, and Astro is interesting because it was started by client-side people, but they went like so far to server side, so it looks exactly like PHP. Yeah, so it's funny, but yeah. So I think React Server Components are good. I think T3 Stack will use it, will support it. Use query, like React Query will support it. All of the features, I forgot the name. TRPC will support it. So I don't think it's going anywhere. So will alternative solutions like Quick, like Astro, like HTMX, like LiveView. Oh yeah, by the way, I forgot one other one. It's LiveWire, which is the same idea, but backend is in PHP. So you're writing your code as PHP code, and then you get like Ajax and all that stuff from LiveWire. Okay, seems like web development is circling back around in basics again. I would say it's like a pendulum. So we swung into like SPA land too far, and we realized that it's bad. And the first thing that we realized is like we need SEO. We need to produce some HTML and on the server. So, and the seal idea was like, what if we just emulate the browser and just see what happens? And I think like Netlify still has like a check mark when you can, like on your website, you can mark like, please pre-render my HTML. And in some sense, Next.js doing just that. So it's not great at that, if that makes sense. But once they were going into server side, they realized, oh, how do like real servers render websites? And it's like, wow, it's completely different from what we are doing. We need to figure something out. And I think like Astro is like is the way that is kind of like it's more like how real servers do it, but React doesn't want, or maybe can't go kind of like too far away to that direction. So React Server Components is kind of like the best we can get from React folk. So yeah, that was a lecture. What I think about Next.js and React Server Components. and yeah, I said it at the beginning, but like Remix will support React Server Components. This is going to be like how server-side React is working. So don't be afraid. Sure. Okay, so let's go back to our Sloid stuff. Yeah, I guess like it just a minute about like Solid. I think Solid is different. So when React happened, I was like, yeah, but it's just like React. What do I get that is like completely different? Not much. Then Vue kind of happened, then Svelte kind of happened, and when I was looking at all that, I was like, yes, it's mostly the same stuff. It's just packaged a bit differently. So I don't I don't see why I need to care about that. And when I heard about Solid, I realized that it's not the same. And it's not the same in a sense as I feel like if Vue or Solid had some good ideas, for example, like what Is there an example? Let's imagine that they have some good ideas. React can take that, but something like Solid or something like Quick is different enough that they can't just like apply that idea. So something like Astro, which is like partial hydrations and stuff, that's applicable. They can get that, but those two, like Quick and Solid, they are kind of like in the league of their own, and I'm less optimistic about Quick. I think Quick is basically like pioneering stuff that's going to be norm, but I don't know if that norm is going to be called Quick. There is like a great chance of like Solid, just the way that they just implement whatever feature that Next has, that feature, whatever feature Remix has, they will just kind of like steal all the ideas from Quick, and Solid will kind of like be better Quick, and so you will be like, why do I need to use Quick if I can use Solid? I don't know if it will actually happen. It just it feels this way, and so that's why I'm kind of like more interested about Solid. But Solid still has its own kind of like rough edges and stuff. So it's, in a sense, it's like it's interesting to see if that's going to be solved. It's interesting to see if I can solve some of that, if that makes sense. And what frameworks? Yeah, so work for Fogbender, and at Fogbender we have this like open source kind of like part of our stack, and so this is React, this is React, this is Solid, this is Solid, and this is Vue. So this one I didn't write. we have a developer who had like experience with Vue, so he did that one. But yeah, so and our blog, which is not open source, it's written in Solid. We're still kind of like working on ramping it up, and like not everything is is done there. But yeah, so I would say that from stuff that I'm not actually like afraid to use, it's React, Astro, and Solid, and I think those are kind of like different enough in their focus, if that makes sense, that I think that I should care about like all of them, as opposed to something like yeah, so like something like Preact, which is almost the same as one of those three. So it's like, why do I why do I really need to do that? I don't know. Hope that answers that. Okay, so now for real. Now we're going back to working on Sloid. Yeah, and it's interesting how like for new developers is like, should I recommend you to like go right into Solid, or like go right into Astro, or just keep React for now to be safe? Yeah, it's interesting question. Okay, so here's our big idea. So we have uh, this web. I guess we need two of them, right? But we also need types. Okay, that's interesting. Which one will it grab by default? I'm a bit confused. Speaking of Fogbander, Fogbander OSS, how do we? Oh no, it's not going to pick up this way. Yeah, so if you don't mind sharing, like, how do you kind of like approach what things you should be like interested in, what things you should care, if that makes sense. I don't really understand how it how it figures out which one to import. I guess because we don't. One of the hardest things as a new developer right now is the multiple frameworks and tools. Right. Yeah, but you still have like the most popular ones. You can just ignore the rest, or I don't know. Why do you feel like you need to know multiple ones? That makes sense. Okay, so here we're trying to create two uh, two output bundles, and we're going to use like different entry points to get there. Okay. So I'm investing right now in Next.js by way of T3 stack, but there are so many frameworks that do something special. Most likely shiny new toy syndrome. Yeah. I think I heard sometime um, I, I forgot where I heard it, but the idea was you wanna like, what if there was a way to use one bundle for everything? Is that better or worse? Yeah. So about shiny new toys. So the idea was that you, when you're doing something, by default, you're doing kind of like something that everyone else does. If you wanna, if you wanna be better than someone else, you need to do something differently, and you need to have some. You're basically like you're making a bet on using, I don't know, like Elixir instead of Node.js. This is our kind of like leg up on competition, and the way, uh, as far as I remember, like someone was explaining this, they said you don't want to do too many bets. Preferably, you bet on like one thing, so you use as boring stuff as possible, but then you do like one experimental thing. And I think that that's kind of like the right approach. I'm pretty bad with that. I usually do more experimental stuff than needed. um, so I'm a bit like a I'm a bit like a bad uh, example for this. uh, but yeah, so try to get kind of like boring answers for everything and then pick something crazy. So in a sense, you're doing boring Next.js, but you're trying crazy T3 stack, for example. That seems like a good balance. Interesting. I see this star stuff. I wonder how that works. Because I tried it before and it didn't completely work. Hmm. Okay. Maybe I need to read some docs. Yeah, so if you're saying you're a new developer, so do you already work as a developer, or do you do something else and you're just trying to get into software development? To be honest, I really need to get my JavaScript and TypeScript up. Yes. Oh, you're just starting. Oh, that's cool. Okay. It's not really what I was looking for. Okay. So You can just show files that you want to export. Okay, that's what I need. Because I don't need to do all of this worker browser. Oh, I need to do CommonJS, yes. Well, these or I mean, if you're selecting a file, okay. So if I go to Sloid, and if I do exports, if I do exports, I think I need to build it first. Otherwise, I'm not going to find the right ones. So it's packages, Sloid, dist. Okay. So yeah, it also generate TypeScript files for that, but maybe that's fine. Can I just export star or something? They having it in like lib. Okay, so let's start with something simple. Let's say dist star is dist star. Does that make sense? Property dist is not allowed. Okay, does it have to be like that? Star.js, star.js. Okay, I'm a bit confused that they have to add dots at the end. Not happy with dots at the end. So maybe if I do package JSON export as exports asterisk common.js mjs. Right. So exports import require is that the same or something different? Okay, import require. Okay, but this one Yeah. Okay, this looks cool, but I guess it doesn't work. It's ESM modules. Yeah, probably try still. Okay, so I can try to this star dot js star.js. Then I do common.js. Okay, so that's the plan, and we have all of that, um, all of those files. So now in here, yes, let's build it just to be sure. And okay, so what do I do? Failed to resolve entry point package. Okay, but we think that I can do web.js or something there. Missing export. Okay, so can I do this? Yeah, it's becoming a bit tricky with types, of course, but solid.js, solid common.js. Okay. Oh, sorry. Yeah, it's not solid, it's Sloid. We have this. It's not working. And we have this, which I assume also not working. Okay. So what do we do here? So if it was this server web.js would be server web.js. Okay, it works this way. And or doesn't. Okay, it returns a module with some stuff, but not template. And if I do solid.js, okay, that's a bit concerning. Does that even work? Okay, it feels like it ignores this stuff. Okay, now it doesn't work. Okay, I guess maybe I need to restart it or something. Okay, so now if I don't do this, if I just do solid server rep, um, doesn't know where to find it. But if I have server web.js like here, it knows, but it probably does the wrong one. Okay. Okay, so if I change this to web, doesn't know it needs to change it. Okay. Yeah, so there's some cache, I guess. So we need to crash it some way. But okay. So server web.js. Do I really care about CommonJS? Not at this particular moment. uh, okay, so let's ignore CommonJS for a second. If I do this, it's still okay. So now it's this. Okay. Yeah, we need to figure out types, but let's skip it for now. So now I have server web. So now we need Sloid web. So I guess it's just web. Yeah, I'm a bit confused with my naming already. Okay, so let's go back to rollup and figure out what we. I think I had like an example of what I want it to be, but now I don't know where to find it. Okay, I need Sloid rollup. Okay, so we need to come up with a scheme. So I want to have there's server there is a server okay, so of every package we have server version and client version. So for every package that is different this way, we want to have two separate bundles. So we have Sloid. Because we already have web and server names taken, as far as I remember. So packages, solid, dist. So it's dev, server, and solid, which is like index, right? Um, yeah, we will need to do dev at some point later. Okay, so okay, interesting. So it could be solid web, right? Yes, solid.js. So it could be Sloid, solid.js, solid.js web, and that's presumably like the web. Okay, so we have universal web HTML H store. Okay, so let's write it down. So we have index universal web HTML and store, and we have like Deno server browser. Okay, so that's solid. So that's all of this stuff. Not really. So it's more like a package JSON stuff. So yeah. Worker browser Deno no development. Because we might need to do all of this stuff as well. JSX runtime. Interesting. There's also JSX runtime. JSX runtime? Or just JSX runtime? Types JSX. I guess it's okay. That's crazy. And this one doesn't have like versions. Okay, here it is. I figured it out. I just need to remove all of this stuff, all of this stuff, all of this stuff. Okay, so now we have a list. I'm not proud how I got it. I just glad that we have it now. So all of the star stuff, I don't think we care about that. So we care about this. Interesting that JSX runtime for H is different, but it actually makes nothing but sense. Okay, so we had dot, which is like index. Index JSX runtime store web H and H JSX runtime. HTML. Yeah, so store HTML JSX runtime H web universal. We did have a typo. Okay, universal JSX index. Okay, and now we go back and we have like worker browser, Deno, node, development. Worker browser, Deno, node, development. Okay. Interesting. Okay, so I think the plan is to do something like Sloid slash browser node and so on. Okay, so this one should be browser slash index. And browser slash web. And the other should be node. Okay. So now we go here and find our Sloid. So, and our export is node web. And here it's browser web. So I think the idea is that right now I have like node web and browser web and all that stuff, but later I will just have like web. And that one is going to be the perfect utopia version of it that will work on every platform. But we will start with that. So now that we have this, the proper idea is to go to Sloid and let's generate our files a bit differently. So we want to create, so we have browser web. We want to have browser dash web, and we want to have node dash web. I think that's the plan. So file is so this one is browser web, and input is, I mean, it could be web, but I think it will be easier if it's going to be browser web. Okay, and so for the server, basically copy this, plop it there, and we'll call it node app. Yeah. So now build is not going to work because we don't have those files. Could not resolve browser web. So we go to our web and we just rename it. Okay, so now this one works, but we don't have node web. So we go to our web server We rename it to Node Web. And we run it. And we are happy. So now we go here and we call it, where do we call it again? I already lost it. Where was, oh yeah, it was here. So we're going for, okay, so missing this server. Okay, yeah, so now we go to package.json probably. And we figure out missing this server. Okay, so which file is that? This node web. Okay, so node web. Okay, can't find this one, which is fine. How did it work before? Okay, so we will export, I don't know, test. And need to build this. Now it has test. And if I do browser one, okay. So we know that we are now in this file. Problem is why this file in browser web works. And if I do this, and if I do this and this, still test. I need to figure out how I kind of like reset caches and stuff. Oh, okay. So I changed it, but I didn't compile it. So that could be it. Okay. So it picked up web version. So now we go to packages, solid web, and we see what we have in this package JSON. And we're looking for server. Okay. So main is server. Why didn't it picked it up then? So the question is, when we generate Sloid, we generate like files. So, okay, I should probably remove this so that, yeah, we don't have like random files there. Okay, I need to remove it and force, I guess, to rebuild it. Copy files for types. Yeah, I should probably do something like that. Okay. Because I was renaming so much stuff, I just worry that random files are there now. So we have browser web and node web. Okay, so now if I actually look into file like node web.js, I needed to bundle this. I don't want to rely on Sloid rollup. Okay, so how do I exclude? Okay, so if I don't exclude, if I build it again, now if I look at it, okay, it's still a module. Yeah, rollup. Bundle. Yeah, this is too generic of a question. Okay, I have like 30 minutes left. I need to figure something out. Okay, so let's try to fix like importing the file itself. There is a more interesting option. I could just copy file. It doesn't seem like a too bad of an idea, but I want to see if I can not do it at first. Okay, so right, so if I don't bundle this in, I'm kind of like asking, yeah. Okay, so here's what I'm talking about. So uh, we have packages solid web dist server .js, and it uses SolidJS, which is slightly unfortunate, but still might work. So now if I just copy this file into node web and just like copy it, and that's it. And now here I see this, and I see this, or this. Okay, so this is not wrong, not completely wrong. So now let's figure out what we can what we can do with this. Maybe we don't need like rollup. Maybe this is actually a good way of doing it. Now we need to figure out. I would need to write all of those like copy commands into some file, but anyway. So now we go back to Sloid. So we have browser web and node web. So now we need, instead of web, we need index. So browser index and node index. Okay. So instead of web, it's going to be index. So browser index. Okay. So go back to rollup. Okay, roll up. So here we have browser web and node web. We copy that. We put it here. And instead of web, it index. Okay, so now we remove Sloid and do build. Okay, now it complains, do you know that you don't have browser index? Yes, I do. I have this index. I mean, should probably start with this one. So this one's going to be browser index, and we just do this. And now it compiles. So I will I will do node index the same way. I mean, okay, so I think the idea is that we go to Sloid package JSON, and after roll up in TSC, we do our CP stuff. And this way, if we change it, all of our caches work right way. Okay, so we do that for web, and now we remove web from here, and it becomes node index. I need to remove it first. I mean, probably going to work properly anyway. Okay, something crashed. No such file or directory. Okay, sure, because we're already in this package. Okay, so we remove. Can we just go to like CD something? Gonna get some sleep. Fun hanging out. And thank you for lectures. Yeah, sure. Yeah, and thank you for asking questions, because otherwise I will try to do stuff that no one no one actually asked for. Yeah, thank you. And if you are on Twitter, just write me something so I can like know who is who. I'm really bad with names. If I don't have like a chat history with someone, I just like forget the person. People who change their like names and avatars on Twitter, they basically like they're a new person for me. I just and especially now there is like some service that generates avatars for you. So many people who are like, I don't know who this person anymore is. They changed their avatar to this like AI generated one. Okay, so yeah, thank you. Okay, so let's try this. Okay, so now we have all the TypeScript stuff. So browser index, browser web, browser. Okay, node index, node web. Okay, so this looks like what we need. Now we just need to test it. So here we have browser index and node index. Okay. And solid. How do I check if it's server solid or? So it's not template. Maybe like 4. Let's go like 4. Maybe I can, and so this one is node. This one is browser. Yeah, so we can see it's different code. Okay. How to use this power for good now? So we don't have TypeScript stuff. I don't think I could get it working today, but we at least need to. Maybe we should even publish it. I wonder if that's the easiest way to play with that. To play in Deno with that. Okay, so do we have any hope to do TypeScript stuff? Because Deno likes TypeScript and it's going to be a bit sad. Also, what are the chances that if we do browser stuff, that we can actually get server 1 instead? I wonder if that's possible or not. So you're trying to get default one, right? So I think what I'm trying to do is to have this example here, and if I create a new terminal, and if I import, not import, require, if I require browser version, right? Yes, modules. So node experimental something. So do this. Oh, now I need to do import. Okay, import. And wait. Okay, so and dot form. Okay, so this is server version. Yeah, that was what I was thinking of. We are not out of it completely. So one way we can do this is we can just continue copying we can just continue copying files. The problem is that is there a problem? Okay, let's check if we have this whole example here. So if we have browser index.js, okay, and now node index. Okay, so this one doesn't have any dependencies. And if we would to copy server. Okay. So if we're going to copy browser index, so we expect this to be solid, I guess, solid.js. Yeah. Okay, so if we copy solid.js to browser index, it will work, but then the problem is so like browser, not browser, but node web. So this one, it imports from SolidJS, and if we want it to work with the same version, it needs to be so instead of SolidJS, it needs to be Sloid. Sloid. Node/index. Okay. Yeah, that's where I was hoping we can do all of this stuff is rollup. We can probably do it manually, right? Okay, so here's a big plan. I'm running build. So now in Sloid we have node web that does all of this stuff, and we replace it with Sloid node index. Save it. So this is node web. Now node index is fine. Now browser web is not fine because we didn't copy it, right? We need to add another copy to our package. So here we copy node web and node index. Now we copy browser index, and we need to copy. Okay, so node web and index, browser. We need to copy browser web. Okay, do it this way. So we want to get browser. We want to get browser web. We are getting it from so this one is for server, and So that's the plan. Okay, so build again. So look at the dist again. So browser web, no, browser index, node index, browser web, node web. So for node, we want to change this to be Sloid node index. And for browser web, we want to change it to Sloid browser index. Okay, this is this is a bit too silly, but let's think that it works. So now our sanity check. Failed to import solid browser. No, it's not solid. It's very, very, very not solid. Okay. Failed to resolve Sloid browser index. Okay. Okay. So what about this one? No. About this one? Yes. What about this one? Yes. So browser stuff works. But it doesn't work here. Okay, so let's pick one. Okay, so it tries to import here, and because it's in the same folder, what we probably want to do is to just import kind of like that. Okay, then in node web we do node index. Okay, so is server false, is server true. Okay, and now our experiment with node, if I do this, it's browser. If I do this, it's node. So it works from node as well. Node will import browser browser bundle if you ask it. Okay, I have 10 minutes to try this. So what's the fun other one? Is node web, and instead of 4 we're calling is server. Nope, cannot find module. Well, cannot find module node index. Does it have to be like JS? Cannot find module browser index imported from browser web. Okay, so V can work with either one. Yeah, but Node wants .js. Okay. How do I check? How do I check with Deno into stable? So import npm Sloid node web loading unprepared module. Okay, so Deno.js. So Deno run Deno.js. Okay, unable to load Sloid from registry. Okay, yeah. So that's why we need to that's why we need to publish it. Okay, so I don't think I'm going to figure this part out. I'm going to just packages Sloid. Oh yeah, we need to check version. So Sloid package JSON. So does it have any like pre-published scripts? No. So yeah, so we need to change the version. Okay, and author Taylor. Okay. Homepage. We don't have homepage yet. So okay. And npm publish. Okay. Let me get my one-time password. You know that it's actually not one time. You can use the same. You can use the same one multiple times. Okay. So let's try it again. Enable to load. Imported from. Caused by. Okay. So, and if I have like at something like that. Nope. It's have to be like here. Okay. Could not find npm package Sloid. Matching. Reload. After run. Okay, guys, you. Okay, that's it. So import sx console log x. Could not parse. Import from. Okay. So server and browser is server false. Okay, oh yeah, I don't need to reload anymore. Okay. So what does that mean? I have just a few minutes left. I think it means I can I can render to string probably. Okay, so I think I want to do. So in our node web, we have render to string. And we have it in a browser or node. Okay. I can actually do both of them at the same time now, right? That's what we couldn't do before. Yeah, so throw in browser and call in the server. Yeah, that's cool. The other ones should do this as well. So now, so on the server, I can call render to string, and the parameter is code. Okay, so function that returns hi, and console log hi. Okay, so now how do I do JSX? I guess you will have to we will have to tune in again to figure this out. Okay, I was hoping it wouldn't take where is it, like 3 hours, 3.5 hours to get to this, but we published Sloid, which is a great achievement. It allows us to run both server and the client code at the same time. In parallel universe, you would expect that you can just like write here something like, so you do like solid dist like server and client, right? But it doesn't work this way because it will depend on solid, and you need to pick different versions of solid as well. So you can't like easily fix that with import map or something like that, because again, like you need two different names. So I think we did it. I think we slowed it up. Yeah, let me check again that, yeah, we needed to update that package. I don't know how to do it in Deno yet, so that's cool. It works in Deno. It works in Node. Can I do Node? Like probably .ts. Okay. Experimental. Oh yeah, npm. It doesn't know what npm is. You should. Oh yeah, we need to install it anyway. It's much harder in it's much harder in types in Node than in Deno. So I'm not going to do it, but it works in Deno. We were calling the same function from two different versions because we can and we should. And that's really cool. In the next stream, I guess we can try to actually build some okay, let me think. I want to say it. It would be cool take something like Fresh and try to create like a solid island in it using solid server version to generate HTML, and then using solid client to run kind of like client code. The biggest problem I see right now is packages. So if I have a package, say solid lazily, that depends on solid for it to work, how do I tell that package that please use like this version of solid when building on server and this version of solid when building on client? Because otherwise you can't do like SSR. You need both of them at the same time. I wish I had like a cool demo of how Sloid works. Maybe I will create that later and like post it on Twitter or something. But okay, this is too late now, and it's so cool that I already have like 4 likes. Which is like some videos for like the lifetime of the video, they don't get any likes, but here just during the live stream itself we got 4. So thank you everyone who does that. And yeah, I don't know, subscribe to see the next part. I guess that's the interesting part.